How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. So over on the Dixie for the daily, we do have a bearish engulfing candle forming. That's a red candle that's as big or bigger than the previous green candle. If followed by a strong red candle from here, we likely would see Dixie continue to sell off. Remember, CPI is tomorrow. I thought it was today. My bad. I was off by a day. RSI is pulling back. Stochastic does want to round away. VWAP is turned round and momentum is falling due to that yellow wave. Our VWAP favoring bearish, so if that continues, our momentum, the blue wave, will continue lower, and our money flow, this currently red wave, will continue to weaken. As that money flow gets deeper in the red, we do have further sell-off and more selling than buying. That's what it represents. Over on the 4-hour, we did hit our 300 EMA several times, and we got several rejections, showing how not every time you hit a resistance you're going to weaken and shoot through. Sometimes you can get rejected by not breaking that resistance or support. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is pulling away. Momentum does want to round as our VWAP pulls into that bearish territory. We're heavy in the bearish territory right now, so I would watch that. Will bring our money flow further into the red, which will cause further sell-off and weaken that daily. Over on the 2-hour here, we are in a descending channel here, so we'll have to see if the highs and lows connect well. I don't think they really connect too well in my opinion, so it may be more of a bearish continuation. Remember, when they don't connect, that's a bearish continuation. That can drop you lower like it suggests. Our momentum is pushing heavy in the bearish territory as that VWAP continues to reject, crossing bullish. As that continues, money flow will continue to weaken, and those higher time frames will continue to break down. Our RSI and Stochastic are also heading down. Stochastic's pretty beat down here, so our RSI is going to continue lower and bring price action lower. We constantly keep rejecting that green EMA, so if we can't break above and hold for several candles, then we could end up breaking down and continuing lower from here, getting that continuation. So watch that EMA closely here. Over on the 1-hour, we do have a bit of a descending channel here as well. The highs and lows might connect a little bit better, but these highs won't connect too well, so I won't count them. RSI is pulling back, Stochastic is falling. VWAP is in the bearish territory, getting a consistent low, so we did get a little bit of a weak low here, and now we are dropping back after getting a sharp rejection from the bullish territory. That was a higher high, but if we continue to see these weak lows, followed by another weaker high, momentum will remain bearish, money flow would break down, and we would continue to slide. But if that VWAP does manage to make a higher low here, then we get a higher high with our VWAP. We could push forward. I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but that would be the other scenario to watch for. Over on the total for the daily, we are trying to kind of whipsaw all over, so we did have this triangle. I'm going to delete that line. You can see we did run up toward the breakup point, so we can look at the 1 hour real quick. We are still within our bigger pattern, but you can see we got that break of our EMA, got rejected, and continued lower. So we are retesting what would be about the top of this channel. So I would watch. That could be a strong support area if we can follow this with some continued bullish momentum. So we will jump back to the daily, then get on the technical analysis for the rest. So we did bounce above that 300 EMA on the daily. We are holding, but we're trying to pull back, so I would watch. If we break the bottom of this channel, we could have that rejection of our flag and a continuation to the downside. Remember, this would be our retest, so if we get a rejection from this retest, we could see altcoins sell off. Stochastic is pushing forward. RSI is trying to gain strength, so watch that Stochastic close. It can help push RSI and price up. VWAP is bullish, momentum is gaining strength, and the money flow is trying to break that neutral. So if our VWAP can remain bullish, we may see momentum push further and give that money flow some significant strength. Over on the 4-hour here, we did break above that yellow EMA. We are trying to hold, but I would watch. If we break this yellow EMA here, it's likely we would continue to round away, getting a rejection of this mid-level EMA. As Stochastic does want to pull back, we do have our orange above the blue, so I would watch. Momentum is pulling back, RSI is dropping, and that VWAP is in the bearish territory. If that VWAP continues to fall here, money flow will continue to weaken, and price action will start to trend lower. Over on the 2-hour here, our RSI is starting to push forward, momentum is weakening, Stochastic's dropping, that VWAP is favoring bearish, So that yellow wave does have lower highs with lower lows. That is bringing our blue wave momentum down and causing money flow with that green wave to continue lower. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish here, momentum will make a break and that money flow could reverse into the red, signaling that we have more sell-off. And remember, as total is the market cap of all our altcoins, that could end up being a sell-off of our altcoins. Here we may have a descending triangle counter to that rising triangle that we broke away from. If I can get that trend line to appear, and then you would measure from your top to your bottom, and this would be a breakdown point, so that would be a breakdown of around 563. If we can't hold support there, that would be where we could trend to the bottom of our rising channel, and remember that rising channel we cover in Mastering the Trade can bring you lower. Our stochastic does want to push up. We do have that blue above orange, so that is positive. If that can make a strong bounce and hold above the 30, we could see RSI remain bullish, and that could help push price action away from our triangle. VWAP is trying to break bullish as well. If we zoom in, we have a weak high. If it ends up like this high, and we get another stronger wave lower, that's likely going to give us our breakdown. However, if our VWAP stays above this neutral here, momentum will continue further with that green dot. Money flow could remain bullish, and we could invalidate our pattern and try to retest that 300 EMA. At which point, if we do retest that EMA and hold, we could continue further up. But again, I would watch for the top of this range, because if we get rejected at around that 602 area, we could end up seeing a rejection to the downside still based on this channel. So over on Bitcoin dominance for the daily, we do have a bit of a break here. We'll zoom out so we can get our fixed range volume profile. So we do have a manipulation X. This manipulation X does want to bring us lower, so I would exercise caution. That could end up weakening Bitcoin against the rest of the market. Remember, Bitcoin dominance shows Bitcoin versus altcoins and stablecoins. Bitcoin did decrease a little bit today, and our total did increase, so that's why we are seeing dominance weaken. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is starting to weaken. That money flow is bullish, but starting to round away as that VWAP wants to break toward the bearish territory. We have a lower low, so if we follow it with lower highs, momentum will continue to break down, and that money flow will start to push away. That would result in dominance pushing toward our point of control possibly, and if we continue with red candles there, we do have a gap back there, we could see a push to the value area low. Again, I think that would be positive for our altcoins, because we did see Bitcoin run up pretty good against altcoins for the last few months. So now with the ETF news, it may be the altcoins' turn. We did have this rising channel here. We're going to delete this on Bitcoin. There was a possibility of pushing lower, but now we kind of traded sideways. We really don't have that pattern now. We do have a long upper shadow candle though. This long upper shadow candle, if it's not followed by a strong green candle, could show the bears are going to reject us lower, kind of like one right here. That did end up getting a little bit of a correction, but we did gain bullish momentum afterwards. So it's not the end of the world. We do have indecision here that could bring us lower. So those are some examples. This is one that really didn't play out. So they don't have to break you down. They just could if followed by bearish scenarios. VWAP does have a lower high. Momentum is pushing down. Money flow is trying to gain strength. So if that VWAP can remain bullish, our momentum could gain further strength and money flow could try to flip. But we would want to watch lower time frames and see if they hold bullishly. Over on the 4-hour, we could have a little bit of a rising channel here that we broke away from. We are retesting the support similar to how Bitcoin traded. So if we break this support level, we could continue lower. We're still not safe from that break, as we do look like we're trying to make a bounce. There's a little bit of a gap below us right here around that 56,680. So I would be cautious of that gap. They do have an 80% likelihood to fill, like when we jumped up and filled this slight gap right between here. Our stochastic is pushing down, momentum is rounding, and VWAP is breaking down, causing that money flow to remain bearish as it weakens momentum, so the 4-hour doesn't look too positive. Over on the 2-hour, we do look like we could get a bounce here. We do have another gap right here though, so I would watch. Having those multiple gaps does give us higher odds to drop. Momentum is dropping away as that VWAP favors bearish, but the VWAP is trying to break the neutral, so if it can flip to the bullish side, we could see that yellow wave push our momentum higher and give that red wave our money flow some strength to push up as well. Over on the 1 hour, we did have a gap to the downside. We did break down and fill as we tried to run forward. So that's another example of how those gaps can fill. We really don't have other gaps we could show on the 1 hour, but momentum is pushing down. VWAP is trying to break bullish, but if this is a weak low high compared to this wave back here, we could still see bearish favor because that would be a weaker high. And then if we get favored lows or continued lows like these waves back here, we could see bears inch price action lower. Momentum is in the bearish territory and momentum is starting to drop, causing that money flow to drop away. If that VWAP does not hold bullish from here, we will see money flow continue to reject, showing people are continuing to sell off. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did try to push back into this channel here. We will delete this. So we did try to break that support. We did hold our support. I would watch because if we do break that 57K, we could make that push down toward our 52K. And remember that 52K is our neckline for our double top. And if we break that double top, that can bring us all the way down to our golden pocket, right around that 30K zone. So just keep that in mind as we do keep trending lower. We did overall push off that 300 EMA though, so that could help push us further up. Momentum is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing forward. Stochastic is running up. Our side does want to gain strength, and money flow is trying to flip into the bullish territory. So if that VWAP can remain bullish, we would see the rest of price action start to gain and rebound from here. Over on the 4 hour, we may have a rising channel, so I would exercise a little bit of caution. It doesn't really connect, so the highs and lows don't connect yet. I would watch if they do end up connecting. That could try to push us down. Remember, a rising channel does push you up in the short term, but brings you down in the long term. Momentum does want to round as our VWAP is favoring bearish and causing money flow to sell off. Momentum is dropping. So overall, I would exercise caution. Stochastic and RSI are pulling back, resulting in price action pushing down. Watch if the lower timeframes can favor more bullish here. Over on the 2 hour, we do have the potential for a rounding bottom here. Remember, a rounding bottom is created with a red candle, an indecision candle, and then a strong green candle. If we continue with the green candle here, that would give us confirmation, and that confirmation could help push us further up, and we may start to break some of these other higher EMAs there. Our stochastic is dropping away. Our side does want to lose strength. VWAP is in the bullish territory. Momentum is pushing down, so I would watch that momentum. If it continues to drop away, our money flow will start to weaken and price action will follow. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is starting to curl off. VWAP does want to break bullish, but we look a little weak, so I would watch that VWAP close. If it starts around here, we could get a lower high. Follow it with weak lows like back here, and then that would give us the scenario to continue to drop away, as we did try to break our 300 EMA, and we did get a rejection of that critical EMA level. Momentum is in the bearish territory, so I would watch if that VWAP pulls back. Momentum will remain bearish, and money flow will continue to sell off. Over on graph for the daily, we are trying to get our bounce forward, but we did make most of the move up, so I am going to delete this channel. Remember, pigs get slaughtered. You don't want to go for the full move, especially since the rest of the market looks like it could pull back. Our stochastic does want to run up. RSI is trying to gain strength. VWAP's pushing forward. Momentum is gaining strength, and the money flow is trying to run up. So we do look decent, but watch the lower time frames and watch total. Over on the 4 hour, we could be making a rising triangle here, so that could be positive for us. A rising triangle could try to push us further up, just like we saw on Bitcoin. So that would give us a little bit of a push forward. That would be, if I can grab the right line, a break to around 21.2. Stochastic is pulling back though. Momentum is rounding with the red dot as VWAP breaks down, causing money flow to sell off. So overall, I would exercise caution. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic is dropping away. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is rounding off. VWAP is breaking down with lower lows and lower highs. So that is causing money flow to sell off as well. I would watch. They will get a little close to the neutral as we trade within this channel. Then you want to watch forward where we would break near our resistances if we are holding more bearish or if we look like we could flip one way or the other. Over on the 1 hour, VWAP does have higher lows. We are trying to push forward, so if we can get a higher high, we could start to favor more bullish. That would give us that break up, and that would be the signal you would want to watch. momentum does want to push up, and RSI is starting to weaken, so I would exercise caution. If that VWAP makes a rejection here, we will see the bears break us lower and reject this channel. So over on Ankr for the daily, we did break away from our bear flag possibility. Remember, when you have just a couple of candles, your pattern isn't very strong, but we are trying to push forward. That is positive. We need the rest of the market to continue up if this is going to continue. Stochastic is running up, RSI is trying to push forward, VWAP is gaining strength, momentum is pushing up, and the money flow does want to gain strength as well. Over on the 4 hour, we are trying to hold above our support level of our 2673. If we can continue to hold this support, that would be positive, and we could try to trend toward our 2883. Stochastic is pulling back, momentum does want to round, our VWAP is trying to break down, causing our money flow to round away and push into the red. If that momentum and VWAP continue lower, money flow could flip, and that would weaken the daily and give us further sell-off, possibly breaking that support level. Over on the 2 hour, momentum is rounding away. That VWAP does have consistent lows with weak highs. Money flow is pulling back as a result, so we don't look very strong here, but we have consolidation after a break up that could give us a bull flag to try to push us toward that resistance, and if we can get some decent VWAP momentum, then we could see a break forward. But if that VWAP is still favoring a little more bearish as we do that, we could get a rejection. Over on the 1 hour, we did hit our 300 EMA several times and we got rejected, so I would exercise caution. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is dropping, that VWAP is in the bearish territory, starting to round, causing momentum to drop, and money flow is bullish but is starting to round away, so I would watch that VWAP close. If it continues to favor bearish and does not cross back into the bullish territory, we could see a rejection here. However, if that VWAP does break bullish and holds, we would see momentum and money flow gain further strength, and another attempt to hold that above that 300 EMA. And if we could hold above that 300 EMA, that could continue us further up. Over on XRP for the daily, we are trying to break above our pattern. We did get about half of the potential break forward, so I would exercise caution. Just like the one on graph, we're going to delete it because it could be played out if the rest of the market starts to lose steam. Our stochastic does want to run up. VWAP is trying to push forward, momentum's gaining strength, so if that VWAP can remain bullish, momentum will push forward and money flow could continue higher. Over on the 4 hour here, we are trying to hold above EMA levels, so I would watch. If we can continue and break that yellow EMA, that would be positive, that could help push us further up. Momentum is starting to round though, as that VWAP does favor bearish, so watch if that VWAP rejects our neutral. If we reject our neutral, momentum will drop away, money flow will weaken, and we could end up dropping lower. Over on the 2 hour, we are trying to push up. We do have a reversal arrow though. This reversal arrow could end up breaking us lower if we're not careful. Stochastic does want to run up. VWAP is trying to gain strength. Money flow is pushing up, and the momentum is pulling back. But if that VWAP can remain bullish, we could see a break forward. Over on the 1 hour here, we do have the potential for that symmetrical triangle. So I would watch. If the rest of the market can become bullish, we could try to push forward. But if the rest of the market is leaning more bearish, it's likely we would push down, retest that 35-38 zone. Stochastic does want to round here. VWAP is pulling back. Momentum does want to round. I would exercise caution. If that VWAP does break that neutral, we could see momentum roll away, and that would bring money flow and price action lower. However, if that VWAP can stay above our neutral here, we could continue a bullish trend and start to run forward again. Over on the I'm just going to everything. We don't want to right now unless you're interested in ETH, but no one's ever asked for it, so drop a comment if you want to see other coins. We do whatever coins were requested. Over on ALGO for the daily, we are overall pushing down. We do have lower highs with lower lows. This could be a bearish continuation if the rest of the market breaks down. Stochastic is trying to push up. RSI does want to round. VWAP is bullish, pushing momentum up with the green dot, so we do look positive, and that is giving money flow strength, but we need that to hold on lower time frames if we're going to continue to run forward. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a bit of a consolidation after a breakup that could create a little mini bull flag to push us around these EMA levels, and if we can break those EMAs and hold, we could try to trend toward our 1618. Momentum does want to pull back. VWAP is trying to break bearish, so watch that VWAP close. If we get a lower low after rejecting that neutral, we would have lower lows with lower highs. That would be a bearish trend to weaken the 4-hour and possibly break down the daily. If that does happen, we could see that money flow flip bearish and start to trend lower. Over on the 2-hour here, momentum is starting to trend down. Stochastic is getting beat down. RSI is pulling back. That VWAP is struggling. It does have weak highs with consistent lows. If this continues, momentum will continue lower and money flow would end up breaking bearish, so it would weaken those higher time frames. Over on the 1-hour, we could have that bull flag possibility here as well. Stochastic is dropping, but that orange is above blue. If it can stay above that blue, we could see Stochastic and RSI push up, giving price action a decent bounce off that 300 EMA. And if we can bounce off that EMA, that would be positive, and that could set us up to run toward this resistance area, possibly around that 1484. If we could reclaim that and hold, we could try to trend toward that 1618. VWAP is a little bit bearish, so I would watch. If that VWAP rejects here, momentum will continue lower and money flow would break. However, if that VWAP can flip and hold bullish, we could create a bullish trend with higher highs and higher lows that would push momentum up, giving money flow strength. And if that can hold, we would see the higher time frames continue to gain strength as well. Thank you for watching tonight.